Hey you all, also hi to fellow dressmakers. You're welcome to another interesting tutorial, and in today's video we will be sewing this blouse. This will be a sewing tutorial for this blouse with lace neckline and flounce sleeve details. And without further ado, let's get on with it. So after cutting all the pieces we need to make this blouse, we have this flounce, and I mentioned in the previous video that the longer your flounce, the more fuller the sleeve will come out and the more beautiful it will come out. Then we have the sleeve base, which I said it has to be quite short. And then I have the back pattern for the blouse. I have two pieces of the lace and then four pieces of the lining. We have the underlining, and then we have the lining itself. For the lining itself, I am using this mercury, and then for the underlining, I am using shiny face, that is mirror face as some people know it. Then I have two pieces of the side front of the lace here, then four pieces of the both the underlining and then the lining itself. And this one, I'm using the same middle face for both the underlining and then the lining itself. Then I have three pieces of the front, one pieces of the lace, and then two pieces of the lining because you're cutting the center front on fold. Then I have this one cut out for the bustier part. That is, I'm using phone for that. And then I did something else that I usually do for sheer fabrics like this, yeah. Because of the lace neckline, because of how delicate it appeared, you have to use a sheer fabric to support it to make it come out as neat and flawless like that. And that is why I cut out these two nets, just your basic two nets. I'm using same color, of course. And what you are going to do is to use it to turn the neckline. So I'll place my lace like this, right side, and I'll place that too on the right side and go ahead and turn the neckline with my added allowance. Now after turning, you're going to top stitch and then you trim off the excess allowance. That same allowance you used to turn it, it should be very close to your stitch line just so everything comes out very neat at the end of the day. Repeat the same thing for all the parts. You only have two neckline, that is the front and back here. And then you're going to stitch both the lace and the two net together just to hold them. You are not turning any other part aside the neckline. For the side front, you are basically stitching down the lace and the two nets all around the fabric. Then for the center front, you are turning the neckline and then you're going to stitch down the lace and the two on the other sides. And now what you're going to do is to stitch down the lace and then the underlining. Go ahead and interface if that is what you're going for, yeah, but I won't be interfacing this blouse. So what I will go ahead and do now is to stitch down the lace and then the underlining this way. I'm going to repeat the same thing for all the other pieces. This is the side front. I'm stitching just all around. You understand? This is the other side front, and then this is the back pieces. You are stitching them down except on the neckline. Do you understand? Just go ahead. If you're comfortable using your hemming gum, please feel free to use your hemming gum to hold them. And then after stitching them together, I'm going to stitch down this foam, just starting from the under bust where I have a notch here. I'm going to start from there and then I'm going to stitch it down just like this. I'll first pin it down just to secure them, and of course arrange it just so I know if there's any excess anywhere. But this time I'll be coming in half inch from the edge of my lace fabric. That same half inch I'll be using to join it later. That's how I'm going to stitch it down, just to have something like this at the end of the day. Can you see that? Now I'll take the side front, which I also stitched the foam down with half inch, and now I'm going to use that same half inch to join the side front to the center front. And at the end of the day, I have something like this. You're going to have something like this if you follow this exact process I shared here. And of course, you already know this is how we do our bustiers on this channel, just so we can be able to trim up the excess allowance we have on the bustier part so that we can give it a thorough press and it comes out flat and neat at the end of the day. Now, you're going to iron it, but before that, you're going to take out this excess here, because that is the essence of us stitching down the foam and the fabric like that, so that we can take out that excess from that half inch we stitch it down. Can you see? You're trimming it very close to your stitch line. Then after that, you're going to notch on the curviest part of your bustier. Then you go ahead and press open all the stitches on this pattern. Can you see that? After that, you have something like this and everything is coming out neat and flat. You cannot try this method and go back to your old ways of making bustiers, because this one makes all the curves on the bust area to come out, trimming out that excess. Do you understand? And you can do this even if you're using word. In fact, this is how I do it on my wording before I switched to using this foam pad recently. Now what I'm going to do is to turn the neckline with the lining, and you see how I placed it here on the right side. Before you take out that lace neckline, just take it out of your way, yeah, just so you don't stitch it down later. And now you're going to take your pin and arrange it very well so that you sew with your added allowance. And then after sewing the neckline and top stitching, you're going to take out half inch on the hem of the lining of the blouse, just on the hem. And then you go ahead and sew the hem and sew the two side seam, and you're repeating the same thing with the back pattern too. Can you see that? This is what I have. And at this point, you can decide to go ahead and trim out this excess you have here, because of course it's going to come out like that. But if you don't want to trim it out, you can decide to leave it. Now, this is what the back is looking like. Everything coming out well and everything aligning. And then we have the front. So after sewing the neckline and top stitching, you take out half inch on the hem of the lining, yeah, and then you sew the hem, like you close the hem before you sew the two side seam. And afterward, it's going to come out neat and flawless, just like this. Next thing we are going to do now is to work on the flounce, and for the flounce I'm using this 1 inch crinoline, and you already know how we work with flare and crinoline on this channel. In case you don't know, I'm going to leave a more detailed tutorial on the description box and in the comment, just so you go ahead and watch that if you don't understand what we are doing here. So trim out the excess you have on the crinoline, the part that is likely to poke, and then you're going to mask it with your masking tape just on that end. And now you're going to take two of your flounce fabrics, yeah, and then you pin them together just to secure them. And now you're going to start from one end and sew into about 5 inches before you place this 1 inch crinoline exactly on your sewing allowance. And now you're going to follow that same stitching allowance or sewing allowance you started with and sew on the tip of the crinoline until you get to the other end. Also, do not let the crinoline get all the way to the end of the flounce. Can you see what I did here? Now, after doing that for the two, I have this, and then the next thing we are going to do now is to use a combination of this liquid glue and the hemming gum. And now, when you were stitching, you see, you place it like this, and now you're going to turn it to this other side. Like I said, I'm going to leave a more detailed tutorial on how to do this. This one might be quite fast for you because I have tons of tutorials for this on this channel. Do you understand? So now you're going to apply your liquid glue, just little of that on the other edge of the crinoline you are seeing, yeah, just like that. And then after applying little of that liquid glue, you don't have to apply too much, just so it won't look like you pour oil on your fabric when you turn it to the right side. Now you're going to place the hemming gum exactly on that part where you just apply the liquid glue, yeah. Just take your time and place it there. And after that, you're going to turn it to the right side and give it a thorough press. So after that, you're going to have something like this. We can see how neat and flawless it's looking on all ends of the crinoline. In and out on both sides, it comes out super neat because of the method we used. Now what you're going to do is to just go ahead and close it on this end just so it's neat, and after that you're going to weave it on this top part just to eliminate the rough edge so that it won't keep fraying at the end of the day. But then I'm choosing to use my bias to do that. But like I said, feel free to weave if that is what you're comfortable doing. Then after that, the next thing we are going to do is to basically turn the shoulder of this blouse, front and back. Here I'll just simply go ahead and fix my zipper on the center back with my allocated zipper allowance, and then I'll turn the shoulder like this. But what I will do is to first turn it wrong side to the wrong side this way, yeah, wrong side to the wrong side. And after that, with about 0.125 or 0.25, after that you trim off the excess there just very close to your stitch before you turn it to the right side and stitch it. Now you are closing the shoulder permanently, and this way it comes out neat and you won't see any rough edge of the fabric at the end of the day. So after that, and after interlocking this with my bias here, this is what I have. Now it is super neat for the next process. Now the next thing I will do is to bring in my sleeve, which I already turned it out with the lining as I mentioned in the previous video. Yeah, now what you're going to do is to place them right side to the right side this way, and then you're going to label, just choose where you want to be on the front of your armhole. Do you understand? And then you're going to label it just so at the end of the day you're not going to end up with one sleeve, because the how you fix the flounce now determines where is going to be the front of the sleeve and where is going to go to the back of the armhole. I don't know if you understand that. And now what you're going to do is to basically go ahead and mark your closing allowance. And now what I'll do is to just measure the round sleeve like this, and then I'll be adding the 1.5 extra allowance I added while cutting. Then this other excess, I'm simply going to trim it out just so I make that part equal and even, just like this. So after doing that, now you're now going to open it up and mark that same closing allowance. Remember, you're adding some inches or at least half inch to your normal round sleeve just so it won't be too tight when you wear it. Now I fold it into two again. If you have your hot iron at this point, go ahead and iron to create a crease line which indicates the midpoint, and then you still notch, and then you're going to start from that midpoint and come into 4 inches. What you're coming in here depends on the size of the sleeve you're working with. Because this is for a regular size, yeah, I'll just come in here for 4 inches, which is like what I will use for her cold shoulder. If that would sound better, just use what you usually use for your cold shoulder, yeah, and then you're going to mark it. Just elongate that line this way, and then measuring from the side seam, from the closing allowance to that line, it's about 2 inches from my closing allowance. I don't know if you understand that, but what I mean, the wider your sleeve, the more you go in. Instead of using 4 inches, you're using about 5 inches, and then you're going to try to get the midpoint of this part, yeah. And now just the same way you cut your flounce, yeah, that is what these 4 lines indicate. And now you're going to start marking that flounce like you want to cut out a flounce. You're going to start it like that. Just start your curve that way, and then you're going to corner like this, and just give it about half inch space from the other line. You're simply going to leave your joining allowance on the top. If you want to, go ahead and mark it like you see me do it here, and then you're going to continue your curve. So your curve will be touching this same half inch you'll be using to join the sleeve to the armhole later, just so your flounce won't get to the armhole joining and it comes out bulky at the end of the day. And then this space you see me leaving here, I said you are leaving just about half inch, just so at the end of the day it's going to come out very neat and very full. Can you see? You won't be seeing anywhere where they joined or fixed the flounce. And then this other part, it's not confusing at all. The exact way you started your flounce cutting, that is how you're going to start it here. And then these other lines, you're going to leave about, give about half inch space or half inch intervals before the other line, just so it comes out full at the end of the day. Now you're going to take your flounce like this, and then you're going to start from where this curve started to. And because of how we finished up this, you are not like you're not worried about fixing on the wrong side or on the right side and later turning it to cover the stitch line, because that is not going to work. Regardless of how you do it, this top part that we finish with bias will still be showing. So that is why it's important that you either weave or you use your bias like I use, but you're going to follow this line as we mark them here, or the curve, and fix the flounce. Can you see? If you have excess, you can be adding tiny pleats as you go, and that would help make it fuller and make the that part that looks like rose comes out even fuller and more beautiful. So after you're done with the sleeve, yeah, you're going to trim off the excess you have on your armhole, and you already know the proper way to do it. Yeah, you're going to hold the front and back together, start from the hem of the blouse and match them up on the side seam until you get to the armhole. Yeah, if there's any excess, you're going to trim it out. And then this is what the sleeve looks like at the end of the day. If you have it fuller, you can even decide to like hold some of them together and tack, and that would help make it fuller and more beautiful at the end of the day. But what I'm going to do now is to go ahead and fix my sleeve, yeah, and this rose part will be going to the front armhole. It must be going to the front armhole, yeah, because we didn't finish the back the same way we finished the front, so you have to make sure now this part is going to the front armhole. And that is why I mentioned that you're going to make sure that you are not ending up with one sleeve at the end of the day. So after fixing the sleeve, you're simply going to close the side seam with your allowance. You already fixed zipper, and you're going to give it a thorough press, and at the end of the day, you're going to end up with something like this. And yeah, that's pretty much how you go about this blouse. I hope you found this tutorial very helpful, and if you do, let me know in the comments. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments, and I'll be seeing you on my next one.